it's Matt Bruenig.
From the Bruenigs.
Hey, pal.
Greetings, everyone.
From the Bruenigs, pretty much weekly.
All that
Podcast?
matters is that they get
You did this to him last
They
time.
get it in under the year, right?
So he
52 hours
says,
a
and
year.
then when we're going to get to those December broadcasts, and he's going to be like, well, I'm a little behind. We got 7 hours to catch up. If we do a 7-hour show, it's going to be great.
I'm daring.
I've been here
I'm daring
before.
the listeners to count them. I'm daring them to spend the time to figure it out.
I've seen this play before, and these guys are like, oh, no, they'll do it. No, I know Bruno.
He's just hoping no one is as autistic as him in the audience.
That's
right. So as long as he can outrun that, then he's fine.
Oh, I forgot.
What do you got?
This has nothing to do with Matt Bruenig. Here's your wallet.
Oh,
Jake left his wallet in my house like 3 days ago.
We saw. Wait,
Yeah.
you never went and got it?
He never went and got it. He lives 10 minutes away from me.
They have an insane thing now on your phone where you can pay with it. And I don't know that I don't feel that I'm going to be nabbed by any government agencies.
Didn't you need the condom?
yeah. I needed the Magnum in there.
I'm just an upstanding citizen. I wouldn't dare drive without my license.
Yeah, I know, Blake.
That's a good point.
Did
Great
you guys,
point.
Did you guys think driving with your shoes off was illegal when you were growing up?
Well,
No.
what do you mean when I'm growing up? I thought it seriously. Didn't think you're allowed to do that.
Did you hear? Did
What?
you grow up with that, Matt?
Why?
No.
I don't know, but it was always told to me.
Yeah,
that's
I've
a
been under the
Texas
impression
law.
that
Okay,
it is
good.
not legal.
To
Are
dri-
you telling me it is legal?
I know. I've never followed
Why
up.
would
I
they
assume
care?
this is like
I don't know.
an
Like your
urban
foot
legend.
can slip off easy or something, or
No.
What kind of feetwear can you have? Like,
Yeah, right. What's
could
the
you have like a mascot feet?
right?
I would think that'd be terrible. Yeah, clown.
But they have to allow it. They're like, yeah, I think these are shoes.
Yeah.
I wanted to have Matt on just because we haven't had him in a while, and let's have Matt
Agreed.
Bruenig on.
That's a good reason.
There's a couple of stories though this week that I thought we needed his expertise for. The Commanders game calls to mind one of our nation's great cultural debates over calling the Washington football team the Redskins or not, or the Brownskins as Ditka offered. That was the only other thing he could come up with when moving off of Redskins. So we'll get to that in a second, but we have this story regarding Tortilla Gate, and maybe more accurately, Pocket Knife Gate. We played this audio on Tuesday. Texas Tech football is on a tear right now. This appears to just be the beginning, and because of that, their fans are super fired up, and that runs right into a rule change that the Big 12 had to tighten up their objects on the field policy. You are allowed to throw tortillas or other objects, I suppose, onto the field en masse at the beginning of the game. And after that, they're basically going to penalize you every time. They may say you're going to get one more warning, but I think you might be burning both those warnings in one time, because if someone throws it 2 seconds or 2 minutes after the warning, we're already to it. They got flagged twice in their most recent win. It's been a deal. Joey McGuire and Lance Leopold, the Kansas coach, meet at midfield. Leopold's all bent out of shape about it. You got to do something about this. And McGuire's like, what the fuck you want me to do about it? Then that spills over to the post-game press conference. In the post-game press conference, Leopold says he believes the referees and the conference handled this terribly. And then in just a real like HOA suburban dad mad move, when there was a lull, he's like, and also they threw a pocket knife. It should just be said, someone threw a pocket knife and hit one of our staffers sometime in the third quarter. Well, because college athletics is what it is, the people from Tech, especially their extremely activist AD, Kirby Hockett, was not going to take this lying down. He did an investigation into the pocket knife. And what they found, at least according to Texas Tech, is that this pocket knife was actually in possession of a Kansas player, and it had fallen out of their pocket or something. But here's a video that Tech produced where you can see. I don't think the audio might be important, but yeah, that's the knife you can see.
Which then Tech argues disproves the claim that it was thrown from the stands. This video goes on to show the knife possibly being picked up from the turf by a Jayhawk player and would eventually make its way to head coach Lance Leipold. Again, to be clear, the $25,000 fine assessed to Tech is not related to this incident, but for the repeated violations of tortillas being thrown onto the field.
So that's where we are. That knife, clearly, when it was brought to Lance Leipold, as they're getting pounded and they're already pissed off, he's like, one of these uncultured swine? By the way, does that belong on the list? I don't even know what that means, but I don't know that I've ever used swine outside of adjacent to uncultured. But so this is where we are. Is college football is so petty that they're like, we didn't throw this knife. We're talking about probably an 18-inch blade or 18 inch, like an inch and a half.
Right, the teeny little clean your nails with it, maybe.
So that's where this got to. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Matt, on how the conference is going to police these sorts of rules at all. My first thought was that the Kansas think they're Vic Mackey or like the LAPD? You could just plant a knife on the sideline like a drop gun and then later say one of these idiots threw it. It's a fun little story.
Yeah, what is the thing that the coach did that's sanctionable? They're not saying that this was a plant, that he knew it was a plant, that he was involved in some kind of fakery. They're not saying that he was intentionally lying, right? It seems like even the video confirms that he didn't know. Someone handed it to him. It's reasonable for him to assume. So what was his crime exactly?
Yeah, because the Kansas AD did get out in front of it, and said, Coach Leipold shouldn't have been talking like that. He shouldn't just be out there talking without substantiated facts about what happened, and slapped him on the wrist for it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what exactly. It all feels like college football. They can just kind of pick what they want and fine you for it, or say it was. It's almost like.
But you didn't get fined for that, right?
No, well,
not the.
It says in the story that they fined Kansas as well.
They fined Kansas for all of this. They fined Kansas for the comments.
Oh,
Kansas' fine was due to disparaging comments about the conference and a member institution.
Oh,
and an inaccurate statement regarding a pocket knife by head coach Leipold. I don't know how. Like, what if you go out there and you say like,
even these fines though? What is the point of it? It doesn't actually hurt anyone in any substantial. That's the point of a fine, right? To deter.
Yeah, less money, less NIL. I guess not NIL technically, but right, less money for the program.
It's not great, but it's also a drop in the bucket. But I know this is just what you do in sports talk, but I could see a situation where this is a problem for them, like on the road or even at home later in the season or next year if they don't figure this out. Like, there's definitely a Bruenig at 18-year-old Bruenig at one of these games. It's like, I'm going to throw one after the 2 warnings, wearing the opposing team's shirt and see what they do about it.
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
That's a good bit. That'd be a great bit.
And it seems like in the stuff I read that the coach had made statements saying, don't throw them. So beyond that, what is it that you want them to do, right? I could see if you say, look, if you're not, if in our judgment, you're encouraging it or you're not discouraging it enough, but what is the thing that I need to do to cross that discouragement bar? It seems very, very vague.
So this story to me is a specific type of story, and it is the Lubbock boogeyman. So we all know Tech is a bit strange. It's way out there. For a lot of people, it's the school you go to when you didn't get into Texas or Oklahoma or A&M. So it's kind of got that like cast-off vibe to it, and you always hear, weird stuff happens at night in Lubbock. And I think this is partially just because the blue blood programs look at it like a group of banshees. But this is not the first incident we've had like this. Today we're going to relive Gap Kid and the goalposts being shoved into the Aggie section back in 2001. Now, do you remember this story, Matt?
I don't think so, no.
So back in 2001, Texas Tech was hosting Texas A&M in a Big 12 conference game. They won 12-0. And when the game was over, the Texas Tech fans decided that they wanted to take down a goalpost and get it out of the stadium. They wanted to take it through like the northeast exit where there's a huge tunnel, or at least there was then, and they wanted to carry it out to Broadway, the main drag there in Lubbock. But as you know, when a game ends, win, lose, or draw, the Aggie faithful are staying down there for another hour doing their whole bit. Like, now it's time for the show where we do the songs and all this and that. There that day was a retired colonel who was the chief of staff for Rick Perry, who was the governor at the time. He had a son. The chief of staff, the retired colonel, had a son who played for the Aggies. Of course, you know Rick Perry, an Aggie. So he's in the end zone, in the stands, as this goalpost is approaching. As the goalpost is approaching, carried by Tech fans, Lubbock's police department blocks that entrance and is like, not happening. You can see this on video. The crowd then turns and is like, well, we got to do something with this goalpost. They decide they're going into the A&M section with it. We're going to ram this goalpost up into the section. So to do that, they get it to the section, and the guys at the head of the goalpost, I guess the uprights, start to climb up into the section. At which point, several Aggie faithful are just swinging.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys who was swinging was that retired colonel, and he got cold-cocked. Bloodied. And there's pictures of this, and as the Tech training staff tries to address his wounds, he waves them off. Only an Aggie trainer will address this blunt force trauma I just received. He gave quote to the newspaper and said, "It was like I was defending the Alamo," which when you see the video.
Well, no, and he got his ass kicked, so kind of.
He got his ass kicked.
It is kind of
he
like
was in a defensive position, and there were Mexicans everywhere on the offense. And he said that people were coming up into the stands, and it was threatening, and people were getting hit. And he took his binoculars, started swinging them, and said, "I'm going to knock out the next person who comes over that wall."
Whoa, that's pretty.
So the governor the next day rails against Texas Tech. The chief of staff says, you guys are going to pay for this in the summer when the budget comes up. Tech's going to pay for this. So dust settles for a couple days, and a young man named Reginald, who is a Texas A&M student, comes forward and says, yeah, I'm the one who hit him. Reginald's black, by the way. He's a black Texas A&M student. So now we're in a real quandary if you're A&M on how to classify this. But when asked why he hit him, Reginald said, I did it because he was spinning his binoculars around looking for someone to hit. I did it to keep him from hurting anyone. So that's just one of many stories.
That's awesome. I never knew that.
Do you know about Gap Kid?
No, I do remember the goalpost being carried out and brought back in and it being a big
This
thing.
is Gap Kid. He's a 13-year-old at the time who would go on to attend Texas Tech, and he sold these shirts for charity. He's wearing a purple Gap brand shirt, and look at the ruffians he's surrounded by. These are the people that carry. This is like,
they look like they're 14.
Junior high kids. It was a bunch of Lubbock junior high kids, and this retired colonel's like, You got to be kidding me. He sees Mexican kids everywhere.
I'm going to start swinging.
Swinging his binoculars, gets knocked out by an Aggie student.
That's awesome.
And then this is, so yes, I wasn't sure if you were aware of this one, Matt, but there are many such stories. I just think it's a thing where people look at Lubbock, they get scared, and then Lance Leopold's like, they had a pocket knife. These people are crazy.
Yeah, like
what's the strategy with swinging binoculars? I feel like that's not an effective. You get one blow and then you're out, right?
That's a good blow, though.
Maybe it depends on how heavy they are, but that just seems it's a very childish behavior. You know, like swinging your arms and stuff, like thinking like that's how you're gonna it would be better probably to have your fists up. You can.
You're a colonel.
Well, it looked like he was 80 though. It didn't look like he had a lot of
but
power.
Still, yeah. Also questionable having binoculars in the lower bowl. Like, I don't know. I kind of miss binoculars at games. Oh, you're right. There you go.
He's 80.
Uncle, the colonel uncle. Now this other story, Matt. Like I said, the Commanders are here. What years did you live in D.C.?
2014 through 2020.
Okay, so this clip I'm going to play for you is from 2016, and this was being hotly debated at the time. FedEx had not yet put the nail in the coffin.
What year did they do that?
That was 5 years ago, right?
Did you live there when they changed their name?
Yeah, I remember it was
Washington football team.
Yeah.
I like that.
There were polls.
I wish they were
the
football team. I thought was cool.
No, that was great. I loved how it broke like a lot of the kind of automated graphics and stuff online, where it would just say like football team versus Cowboys, and that would be it. There would be no Washington. It would just say because they'd only programmed the nickname.
So, I don't know. It's hard. We just joke about it down here, but it feels like something people were actually talking about up there. And maybe that's because it's a political set, more likely to engage in culture stuff. But that's the sense I always got. Like you said,
you're changing the name of something that's been around for 70 years or whatever, right?
Yeah, no, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of people who are in DC who aren't from there. So there maybe if you're kind of in that milieu, they don't really care. They're not following the football team. But anyone who's local is real into it. I remember there was a guy, the first place I lived there, he was probably, 10 houses down from me, like row house. And they had like a little patio. And the whole patio was Redskin everything. Like he would just sit out there in his Redskin jacket, watch football. And yeah, it was like an old black guy. I don't know whatever happened to him. He would have been a good guy to follow up on, like how's he coping with his entire patio and porch just being, eradicated.
Yeah, and it's tricky too. Black guy, you're not as likely to walk up and be like, hey, that's really offensive. Because now there are images, of course, of like a white guy with his face painted, yelling at a Native American like, hey, this is not offensive. And those are some of my favorites. And that's sort of what we have here today. I found a news story from 2016. Just going back and looking at, just searching Redskins in the Dropbox. Let's be honest about it. This is a story that WFA did 10 years ago, and it is about a local youth football team. Now, remember, this is 2016. This is a team that plays here in DFW. Can you get me here? My bad.
Final Cowboys loss of the season. The kids football team in Coppell is decked out in Redskins gear straight from Washington. Their coach is making a statement, and tonight he talked to News 8's Jobin Paniker. Jobin?
Well, it is a name and logo that has come under so much scrutiny, and one thing is for sure, there is passion on both sides.
Everybody get in your spots. We're going this way. Get in your spots.
Go undefeated for 3 years and you're making a statement.
Nobody wants to be the Washington Redskins. So there were some eyebrows.
Okay, now we're talking to the coach. He appears to be about 45, 50 at the time. Coppell, suburban white guy. Okay? And he's going to lay it out for you.
Nobody wants to be the Washington Redskins. So there were some eyebrows.
Especially in cowboy country.
Attaboy. So this is not something that people should be ashamed of.
But go in wearing this logo and this name and you're making a louder statement.
It's actually a badge of honor for most Native Americans.
Okay, and I want to be clear here too. They don't just have it doesn't just say like Redskin. They're called the Washington Redskins, and they are wearing NFL gear. Like Washington Redskins pro gear.
Huddle up.
Hunt Bonneau coaches these fifth graders in Coppell. He chose the name.
Really? You think he chose?
The city didn't?
Yolanda Bluehorse is on the other end, fighting.
It is considered an offensive word to a group of people. It is offensive.
Full-blood Native American, she led the protests outside the Cowboys-Redskins game Sunday.
I don't say that name if I don't need to. It is, and this is what we tell people, that the R word is equivalent to the N word.
Yolanda wants to educate, pleads people to see the historical context. Interestingly, so would Hunt.
Come on.
Interestingly.
The coach would even write a letter in support to the Redskins.
I tell him what we think about what he's going through.
The owner sent back sweatshirt.
Just imagine writing a letter to Dan Snyder.
Hey, I know you're taking on a lot of heat.
Yeah.
A lot of heat.
I want you to know there's some love here.
Here's a picture of my boys that I'm using as a fucking political football.
The coach would even write a letter in support to the Redskins.
I tell him what we think about what he's going through.
The owner sent back sweatshirts, shirts, you name it, thousands of dollars worth of merchandise to these excited fifth graders.
It's a reminder of what I've lost.
Yolanda sees it as a step back to her mission.
It's not just a mascot name. It means to us more than that.
They just want to play football. So the only thing they asked me was, is it okay for us to remain Dallas Cowboy fans? And I said yes.
They just want to play football, right? That's all these kids want to do.
So maybe you shouldn't have done this.
So I changed the name of their team to a controversial slur.
Right.
And also not like the team that's in their backyard.
Right.
They grew up in Coppell. They're the Cowboys in high school.
It's a rival, yeah.
Yeah.
It's worse than that.
We picked the worst possible. And you're like, these guys, I don't understand why you guys are out here. They just want to play football for the Washington
Why is the
Redskins.
media here?
And to maintain Washington still really kills me. There's really no need for that.
It's
that
so,
doesn't help
so
you at all.
over the top. And I don't know. Obviously, this guy, and full disclosure, I found his Instagram. He's the head of a very powerful law firm here in Dallas. He's extremely MAGA. And so I'm not surprised he didn't answer my DM asking him to come on the show because I just wanted to congratulate him on an all-time bit. It's a great bit.
The fact that the parents went along with it as well, it seems like that's something they could just we don't want it for any number of reasons. Even you don't even really have to be woke to say, well, I don't want kids dressed, we're Cowboys fans.
We're just Cowboys.
Washington, what's going on with that?
It's like they take on Grapevine, Colleyville, Coppell, Washington on the schedule.
Which is not where you live. It would be so easy just to take the name of your city and then put Redskins at. That's what they would do.
Right, not enough. He needed to stand in solidarity with the actual Washington Redskins. So that's a fun one.
Matt Bruenig hasn't been sports trolling lately.
Oh, can I say one thing before? Can you let's discuss the dropping the ball before the end zone thing. Because we were trying to come up with reasons for that. I'm like, maybe it's like, hey, this is so easy for me type thing. And I thought Matt had a great point on this, although not troll, a good sports point.
Yeah, so in science, as I've read it at least, dopamine in the brain, it goes up as you are getting near and anticipating success. That's sort of part of the drive. But once you feel like success is certain, even if you haven't achieved it yet, the dopamine goes down, and they contract this in rats and people and stuff. So what's probably happening with the people who are all alone running to the end zone is they get that spike and then that collapse before they get in. They get a feeling of completion that's premature, and they drop the ball.
And to me, that makes a ton of sense on the heels of Scotty Scheffler talking about when you win, it's kind of like, okay, it's the drive, it's the chase, it's the quest. And then you get there and it's just not, it's nowhere near the lead up to it. So
right. You see this in sprinting as well. If you've ever watched, people run the 200 meter or 100 meter even, it seems like they let up at the end, when they're winning. It's when you I always watch them keep pushing. You could maybe set a record, but those last 5 meters or something, they often will slow down.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. Not a troll point, but maybe he's been too busy to troll. I don't know. What gives?
I mean, what's going on in sports? Is baseball? They're still doing that?
All right, so time for viewer mail.